One of the features of revenge films is that the protagonist is compelled to seek justice because society won't. Law enforcement in these films is either ineffectual, like in Death Wish, The Punisher, or Reality, or law enforcement is a corrupt part of the problem, like in Leon, Unforgiven, or Reality. Welcome to Exploitation Reviews, and me, Rob, and today I'm taking a look at Gator Bait from 1974. One of the common tropes of hixploitation films is the corrupt local sheriff. This is a trope that it shares with some revenge films, so it's no surprise that there are plenty of hixploitation revenge films like this one. And it's been a while since I've talked about either one of these subgenres, so let's remedy that, and we're going to do it with a movie starring a Playboy playmate, Claudia Jennings. We open on the swamp, and after the title card, there she is, Claudia Jennings, here playing Desiree. Some country crackers are eating, Cracker Jacks. A little on the nose there, don't you think? They're waiting for someone, and they spot Desiree. The guy in the white shirt wonders how they're going to make it with her, and the guy in the white hat, who's police, says she won't have a choice, she can put out or go to jail. So, once again, we see that exploitation filmmakers tend to portray cops realistically. Claudia tries to catch a gator. The policeman says they've caught her red-handed. I guess gator poaching is a crime. And the chase is on. During the chase, the wind blows Claudia's shirt open, and swamp people don't wear bras, and that's nothing you can see here on YouTube.
Now, I just work here.
But of course, we don't have to stay here. You can now support the channel on Patreon and get access to spicy versions of my reviews. Link is in the description. The cop and his buddy corner her, but she's a crafty minx with a bag of tricks, which is literally a bag of snakes. In the kerfuffle, the police shoots his buddy right in the face.
Ciao, baby.
And then that police runs to his daddy, the sheriff, and tells him that Desiree killed his friend. The sheriff ain't none too pleased. He told his son to stay well away from Desiree. He doesn't care if she's out there poaching. Her family has been doing it for generations. But now his hands are tied and he has to go into the swamp and arrest her for murder. Over in a different part of the movie, some local color is hanging out. The man likes the way the girl looks in her dress and gets a bit handsy. Luckily, the girl's paw ain't too far away.
That your sister!
Oh man, that is just mwah. The sheriff shows up and tells the dad that Desiree killed Ben, who apparently was another one of his sons. They all go out into the swamp trying to find Ben's body. And they find it. Yay, a swamp body? I mean, that's even worse than swamp ass. So now that the swamp body problem is taken care of, Paul wants a little revenge. So off they go deeper into the swamp to find Desiree, who, meanwhile, has returned home to her brother and sister. Her brother is mute, and Desiree and her sister speak this simplified version of English.
You didn't do well, no?
No good. Almost got caught today. Ben Brackham in Sheriff's Board.
This is probably supposed to be a French Creole, but I'm gonna guess that Claudia Jennings' accent isn't 100% accurate. The next morning, Desiree goes out hunting, again, and little sis bathes in the swamp. I don't see how bathing in swamp water is supposed to get you clean, but I like watching her try.
Dirty.
Unfortunately, her singing draws the attention of one of the bumbling bumpkins out looking for her sister. That ain't good. He calls his boys over, and when it comes to the ladies, these country boys ain't the askin' types. Fortunately, this scene doesn't go how you expect it to. Unfortunately, it goes worse. The bumpkin holding his gun gets overly excited, but instead of using his natural gun, he uses his shotgun. But he still manages to finish her. Paul lets Desiree's little brother go, thinking maybe he'll find her and lead her back. He does find her, and despite the fact he can't talk, Desiree figures out her sister has been hurt. I guess she got some training from the people who talked to Lassie. Anyway, time for some justice, swamp style. As a first step, she destroys their boats and steals their food, and then the hunt is on. Naturally, this is a stressful situation and the group starts to break down. There's some infighting and old secrets are revealed and Desiree starts picking them off one by one, and that's enough out of me as far as plot goes. Let's talk some highlights. In a typical hixploitation film, we find some city folks or maybe some college kids in an uncivilized area populated by uncivilized people. Hillbilly cannibals, unscrupulous local police, people who watch Fox News, you know the types. One thing I really like about Gator Bait is we start with these kinds of people and then they find themselves in an even more backwoods area populated by near feral swamp people. That's a fun twist on the formula. What's also fun here is that these feral people they cross paths with are the good guys and the civilized people are the bad guys. I suppose what this film is trying to tell us is that no matter what you compare it to, big city living or gator swamp living, this southern fried rural America is always bad. Or something like that. Okay, so this is a backwoods revenge film, and you know I like me a revenge film, but don't go in expecting I spit on your grave. This one is on the lighter side of things. The good news is, though, that despite the dramatic way the actors yell their lines, what they say is often pretty funny. So, if you're up for a little revenge story and you don't want the trauma of watching something like I Spit on Your Grave, and you appreciate a few giggles along the way, this might be a good place to get your feet wet. Admittedly, the sister getting killed the way she did was a bit of a shock, but that's all the movie has on offer as far as shocks go. I'm also a fan of the look of this one. The swamp location looks fantastic. It makes me wish someone would do a remaster of this thing. As far as I know, all that's out there is a crappy DVD, which looks like it's sourced from an even crappier VHS. Beyond the look of the swamp, you gotta love the look of the swamp people. Claudia Jennings and her sister, nice. But despite the nice looking ladies and setting and some of that tasty revenge, the film's not perfect. Like a backwoods bumpkin bumping bits with his sister, this film has some shortcomings. Well, if you want the trauma and the violence of I Spit on Your Grave, this one will be quite the disappointment. It is quite tame by those standards. The kills here aren't really gory or even visceral. Hell, one of them is even off screen. But that doesn't bother me too much. There's a place for all kinds of revenge films. Not all of them need to be nasty. Some of them can be fun. What I will complain about, though, is there's way too much boat driving in this movie. Like boat driving? Boating? There's way too much time spent boating around the swamp in this movie. Have your remote ready to fast forward those scenes. Overall, this is not a great movie, but there are way worse ways to spend your time than by watching a brawless swamp beauty shoot a cop.
You've got a weird sense of humor.